Alright guys, so we took one trade and we hit. So let's give you guys the confluenciation that we had in order for us to make a good trade decision, basically. Alright, so I took this trade and I hit for a 1 to 1.5, risking again 2%. So you don't make one John unless you have a good amount of risk on the team. So let's go over M and Q, and this is where I was originally looking for a trade idea, but it never really gave me the concept of what I wanted to see. So let's clear out the drawings. I kept it simple today. On the 4-hour time frame, I wanted to see a 4-hour candle range low sweep, which it did happen. Oh my gosh, I forgot the magnet on. That's my issue. And then on the 1-hour time frame, we also had this 8 a.m. candle open up, but we failed to sweep the lows at 8 a.m. And then 30-minute time frame, we did have a candle range low sweep at 9:30, and we just looked so prominent. We were breaking above these highs. I thought, like, this is, peak. This is where we peak. We're gonna make this inverse. We're gonna form a 30-minute and a 4-hour EBP, and we're probably gonna continue up higher. And that was honestly my expectation going into today. And then eventually on the 15-minute time frame again, I just thought this candle right here was going to be, a busy, and then we're going to retrace up into 10 a.m. and then push up higher and expand and, target the new draw, which would have been this one. And then on the 5-minute time frame, we did form that. But again, it's just very sloppy delivery, and the market failed to even reach these highs. This is your break-even point, and then eventually you probably get stopped out. And the reason why I didn't take this trade and I took it on YM was because, again, this one was just so, in my honest opinion, was so overextended to the point where, and this is something I have on my lesson log that I was reviewing last week, was I need to see external sweeps, and I need to see the market come and sweep these lows and then eventually reverse to then eventually give me that, that strong expansion up higher that I want to see. That's the main thing, like we're inside of a range and we're breaking above this high right here. Market is coming back down, retracing. If we want to have a continuation, which is something I'm fine with, I'm willing to take. We got to see strong closures, especially on the 15, 4-hour, and then on the 1-hour. We need to see strong distribution up higher. And of course, ES was giving us that, but NQ was not willing to. So here in this honest scenario, I was just waiting. Just waiting for something to happen. And this is why it's so important, bro, to reevaluate. And honestly, ever since I've been, reviewing, analyzing a little bit more thoroughly, and just focusing mainly outside of the charts. I've been seeing things on the charts a lot more clearly, and just like being more patient, being more aware of like what's going on in my emotions. Because again, at 9:30, the market just came, it just jumped up to the moon. Like people want to jump in, especially people that are mega bullish. Y'all want to continue. You're probably buying up here. Oh, we're breaking above here. We're probably forming a breaker. Oh, it's gonna keep going up. It's gonna go up, shoot up to the moon. But in my honest case scenario, like, you have to be patient. You have to be willing to wait for this game. It's not really a game, but you have to be willing to wait for the market to give you a clear scenario and an assumption where you're like, oh, super clear. I know we're gonna go up higher. I know we're gonna continue here. And just simply waiting, honestly. And that was basically really it. The market failed to give us that 4-hour and then the 15-minute EBP, and that's the main reason why I just didn't take it. Well, it did form it, but we just failed to give us the BISI, and the retracement was too shallow for me. And then on the 4-hour time frame, it just looked, it really didn't form what I wanted to see. Honestly, I didn't see a green candle close up above the body of these candles right here. This right here is what I'm trying to talk about, and yeah, it just didn't close above it. So to me, it just looked invalid. So I didn't take it. Maybe the 10 a.m. is what everybody's waiting for, 10:30, because again, here now it's giving you that strong distribution, but to me it's more range bound. So I really want to be taking a setup right now, especially with how the market's moving. We're moving down, sweeping the lows. Now we're pushing up higher, but again, we're stuck inside of this range. We're sweeping the range low, probably gonna sweep range high, come back down, and just chop around. So YM was my best bet. It was lagging today, and then you did see me pull up the other chart, so we're gonna talk about that right now. And then another thing too, I realized what I was doing wrong last week was not framing a higher time frame bias and not spending enough time on the higher time frame. That's one thing I realized, was I just wasn't spending enough time and like thoroughly finding a good analysis for the higher time frame. I wasn't you know, I would like look at the higher time frame, look for like a pattern, and then eventually go down there to lower time frame and find an entry, you know, with the pattern bias, and it just wasn't ideal. So on the daily time frame, we have a daily, you know, bullish BPR holding to push us up higher. Of course, we had an inside candle, which is like a volatility injector, would which is what ICT would call it. And then 6 a.m. here, which is like your 9:30 candle until 10 a.m. Swept the candle range low, and then we were above the new week opening gap. And again, we swept this range low, which did form some form of SMT, I think. And then we were also inside of, you know, the daily BSC at that point. So we showed strong distribution and continuation for the market to move up higher. My profile here was a continuation off the expansion here, because again, we expanded at well, actually I caught the expansion, I should say. It was more of like a reversal, but of course I have different profiles at times where I would catch the expansion. But let's go back to the 4-hour candle range low sweep. We swept the lows. Market was unable to continue us lower, reach for this low, so what, we looked really bullish here. And then the market also on the 1 hour time frame at 8 a.m. swept that candle range low, and now we're having strong continuation up higher. Market was rejecting this right here at one point, as you can see, but once we started to break and continue up higher, that's where the market, you know, broke through it. Now it's retracing up into it. Probably going to use it as a means to continue higher. Same thing with the 30-minute, though. We had another candle range low sweep. Again, just having these external sweeps is so crucial, because again, one thing I realized from my journal was, if we don't have those external sweeps, you know, below these key lows right here, even like below these lows right here, you know, these externals, you know, like we're probably not going to see strong expansion in that direction, even if it is the one that's, you know, the weaker asset with the SMT. You know, you need to see this. You need to see this, you know, the external sweeps to give you that strong confirmation, and showing strong rejection. Once it shows strong rejection, which is basically an absorption in order flow, or like a delta flip, you know, like this is where you start seeing the, you know, the continuation, and it's confirmed basically. So 30-minute time frame, 30-minute, 15-minute time frame, we entered at this candle right here on the 15-minute time frame. So here we didn't really have any confluence on the 15-minute time frame. The market just showed strong rejection. Next candle opens up, pushes up higher, but the 30-minute did, and then on the 5-minute, I think we also did here. So I drew this out on the 5-minute because I was looking to see a strong rejection on the 5-minute, and then eventually the market starts to continue up higher. We did have this, you know, inversion, but again, it's before 9:30. So to me, it is a little bit invalid, because again, if it did want to hold and continue up higher, we would have expanded off of it. And that's kind of what we had here, but it failed. So I realized, you know, like if we're going to continue higher, lower, we're going to push down below it and then respect this SIBI that we have on the 2-minute, which I'm at to display, and then continue to the downside. But that never happened here. So if I go right here, on the 1 minute, actually, what am I talking about? The 2-minute. 2-minute actually did offer something. I didn't realize that. A little small one though. But on the 1 minute, I used the 1 minute one. The 1 minute had a 1 minute SIBI, and I realized if we were going to respect that 5-minute inversion, the market here would have continued to show rejection, and it never happened, or it did happen at first, but then eventually the market failed to give you that strong continuation lower, breaking below the lows. Breaking below the lows, aiming for these lows right here. And what the market offered was a strong expansion up higher, and then eventually I just targeted a little bit above that high, and that's kind of what we got here. And that was really it, honestly. So that's pretty much really my trade. We made 3% today. We are up around 1%, and on the other account we're up close to 2%. So again, if I just locked myself out the other day when I was being emotional on this account, or the leader account, we would have been far closer to, you know, passing the account and being in the same catalog as the follower account. But again, really just following the system, taking good trades, sticking to our rules, and just focusing on things outside the charts, and just being patient. Honestly, that's one of the things I'm realizing is, once you start being patient and you just stop like trying to rush a trade idea, you eventually find better results. But here with the order flow, if we go to the 5-minute here, it's not the 5-minute value area low versus the one that we got marked out here is completely different. So on the 5-minute time frame, I drew my range from around 850 to 930, and we were inside. I don't know, people just call these like B shapes, D shapes. I don't know. I don't know why people do that. I think context matters more than anything. So context is key. Always try to find the context behind every single trade idea, no matter what. Don't try to pattern trade. I think pattern trading is flawed. You know, same thing with ICT concepts and order flow concepts. You can pattern trade these concepts, and you know, it's not healthy. It is very unhealthy to be pattern trading. I don't recommend it. Here we have a high volume node right there, and it's inside of that range. So if we go to the 1 minute time from here and we look at the value area low, again, it's different on each time frame because again, the tick data is different on TradingView. So here in this scenario, you can see we had a high volume node below this low. The market, if it wanted to continue lower, we would have continued to expand below the value area low. And then this is your midnight open right here. So yeah, we would have continued to expand below this area and have strong continuation to then expand up. Not really expand up, but retrace back up and then continue down lower. That's what, you know, the best case scenario here would have been. Something like this. Something like that, you know, something like that would have occurred and the market would continue down lower, but it failed to give us that, and then the market just expanded up, reaching for the value area high in the point of control, because again, the market was in more of an imbalanced state. So it was imbalanced and it wanted to balance itself out, and that's kind of what we caught here was the 50%. Boom, the market is balanced now, and then eventually, not really the 50%, but it went back up to like 70%. Now it's at 0%. Now it's going back up, boom, another 70%, boom, 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 and now it's expanding up higher, and then it's ranging. So again, catching the market in balanced state where it's more likely to expand with speed and continuation back to the point of control, if not the value area high, which is what happened here. So this key level, the value area low, was a strong confluence for me to look for longs and continuation up higher. So again, really just using all the context behind this trade idea and, like, you know, evaluating it for what it is, and that's pretty much really it. So that's pretty much really the trade recap. I want to scale up. I do want to start doing more things, but again, I have to be patient and I have to be taking it day by day, and appreciating the process for what it is. And that's really it, bro. I think trading was a lot more difficult, especially in the wrong mindset. So you have to get yourself out of that slump. You have to be willing to transform and get better every single day, because again, the results you have are reflective, and they're reflective from your own state of mind outside the charts, because they reflect in the charts, and you just have to work on yourself outside the charts. So that's pretty much really it.